Why, hello there, everyone. It's Ken and
Katrina.
that's right. We're gonna make some bets. She's got a loaded account. She got one of those bonuses in Vegas because she just roams around sports books and hits on dudes, right? Is that what you do?
Wish I tell them about you. Sure.
Don't hand wipe your phone while you're talking. What'd you say?
Oh, just trying to tell them about your algorithm, the most predictive algorithm of all the algorithm predictors.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, we're gonna talk football and we're gonna talk hockey today.
Okay.
And you're gonna make some bets because you got some free money from these sports books because it happens not just in Vegas anymore. It happens all over the place. Whatever state you're in, like an online sports book that gets a license starts to offer these, bonus promos. I think FanDuel actually gave me $75 this weekend to bet on football. That was the only bet I made on football because I was running around with hockey with my kid all day. I actually paid no attention to it and just randomly, listened to it, but I didn't even bet because I was running around. But I did use that free bet because it was like, all right, they're giving stuff away. So anyway, let's have some fun. Let's go over what happened yesterday. Our picks went 3-2, but it was a really weird and choppy day. And when I refreshed everything, stuff's in a different order. This is a complete disaster. The only funniest thing of the day was that with those injuries in there, it predicted the Jets winning alternate score and they won. Hilarious. Anyway, Sunday was a mess. It's too much to even talk about, so I'm not even gonna talk about it. Let's talk about tonight's game. Chargers and Denver. So I updated the injury report. Denver's defense is 35% injured. Okay. What are you doing with your phone? Gotta keep it still. I'm gonna mute you. All right. So Chargers and Broncos, it says Chargers. It says Chargers to win. Also could do Chargers team points, but we're just keeping it simple. Chargers supposed to win this game because Denver's hurting. You could even consider the over and Chargers winning because it says they get there, and there are reasons that they score more points than this even says because of the injuries. The alternate score says 31-20. That's why there's a 51 right here. I'm using the alternate score to determine projected points. So it's saying over in Chargers, but definitely Chargers win. All right. So that's probably going on a round robin. Now let's talk hockey. So we've been talking for a while before we started recording, and we went through hockey, and you brought up last season stats versus this season stats and what to do, right?
Yep.
So as I went through this and there were crazy projected scores coming out, I was like, well, what's going on? And I dug into the formulas, and the answer is it was related to goaltenders. And so what I did is I did put last season's goaltending stats in here. I think I need to change teams on people though, don't I? I think I do. It actually wouldn't work if they changed teams, right? Let's see here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did because it looked like it was working, but we haven't actually browsed through every game yet. So let me do this.
Why would it? Wait, hold on. Because they're the same. They're just a goalie by itself. Their stats are.
No, but I just put in the last year. Yeah, I got to change stuff. Yeah. So what happened is I put in last year's goalie stats in there on the team that they were on last year.
Oh.
So if they change teams like Billy Husso, my favorite goaltender, I don't think it would work right. Or maybe it would because I overrode something, but let's see. No errors. So this is working. Everything's working. So we're going to refresh. See if the score's changed. No. Okay, so I guess it was overriding and working properly anyway, which is why I didn't see errors when I glanced at it. All right, we're fine. So anyway, point is I put in last year's goalie stats because we had to. If we didn't, it wasn't going to work right. And so we have a rendering now that's a little more reasonable. It's still doing really extreme stuff like 9-2 for Pittsburgh, but that is actually not completely out of the realm of possibility. And Pittsburgh has been excellent. So even though it's obviously inflated, it's also giving you the high range of the potential of the game, I think. Because there wasn't anything over that 9, and there were some, 6s and 7s. They can happen. But it does look on average to be high. So because of that, we're not going to focus on over-unders in games because we don't trust what's happening because it's so early in the season. But we are going to trust trends and we're going to trust adjusted power percentages. And pick rank and all this stuff, which is super distorted over here, it's actually worthy of looking at because it did some interesting things last day on Saturday. I think the top like 8 or 9 won, or it went 8-1 in the top 9 by pick rank. It's crazy. So that's why there was a guy who was like, why are you using current season stats? Stop, go back to don't change right now. I was like, yeah, I understand. But you want to bring in new stuff anyway, because you have to start with the new stuff. So let's talk about today. There's a number 1 pick. It is the Rangers. Goalie status. We got errors here. Let's see here. Confirmed. Yeah, we have errors on the status for some reason. I'll try to fix that later. But it says the Rangers, and the Rangers line is -238. But it does say they win. And they're a good team, and Anaheim has been getting pummeled. So you could consider Rangers -1.5, but in hockey, because of bounces, you want winners on a round robin, so the Rangers to win is what to do. -238 is bad, but not awful. So it's the number 1 pick. Number 2 pick, Pittsburgh over Montreal, -250. Same thing. You could just take them to win. You're supposed to win. Third, Toronto over Arizona. Arizona is miserable, but Toronto's -490, and they will screw you. So I'm going to stay away from that one because that line's ridiculous. Next pick. 4, Carolina over Seattle with Anderson in net. Says this game is 4-3. This is looking like a reasonable score. Frederick Anderson's good. Carolina at -165. Yeah, that's good. It's still Seattle, even though it's in Seattle. So Carolina to win. And the 5 pick is Colorado over Minnesota at only -125. That's a really good line. And it says a really high score. The scores are screwed up. It does say a high scoring game of like 6-5. And Colorado wins. So I think Colorado is good there. Georgiev better than Gustafson. Minnesota, I've not been impressed. They let up a ton of goals against LA and lost. So Colorado's a good team. We listen to Minnesota. So Colorado to win at -125. That line's pretty good. 6, Detroit, my favorite goalie, Ville Husso, one of my favorite goalies, against Jonathan Quick, who's not playing well, says that Detroit wins at +125. Is the 6th pick of the day. So, I mean, it's pretty good. So yeah, Detroit to win. We're starting to get into the iffy ones as we're down in 6 and 7 and stuff, but that's a really good line. They're at home. They're a better team this year, Detroit already. They've won 2/3 of their games or something like that, or won all of them or something like that. They've been doing really well. They won at least 2. I have to look at what their standings are. Detroit is 2-0. Yeah, so the 67% that people are seeing here on the screen is not including today. These numbers are always off. Nobody can be 100% because it's including today's game in the denominator, which has not been played yet and has not given them a win. If we gave all these teams the exact scores, for example, and we give them all a win, you'll see that percentage will shift to 100%, I believe. Yeah, it just did. So that's kind of how that works. So we're looking at not necessarily concrete numbers for historical stats because we're a moving target as we're keeping track of odds and we're keeping track of correct goaltenders. And so the look on everything is constantly changing and it makes it frustrating because I send out an email and then stuff changes when you update. But that's why I want you guys to be in control of the file yourself and not be relying on me because I don't have time to update everything all the time in all the sports. So let's keep going. We're almost done. So Detroit, I say yes. They're 2-0. And they have Ville Husso, great goaltender. The next pick is Dallas over Winnipeg with Ottinger probably going. He's also a very good goaltender. that's a big percentage and big disparity in score, and yet it's only the seventh pick because Winnipeg actually has been winning. So this is why this is interesting to look at. So Dallas playing great, but Winnipeg also playing really good, like 1-0, right? So it's like, well, that's why it puts it down as the seventh pick, but gives it a higher difference in adjusted power percentage and a higher score differential. So that's it's actually saying stay away from Dallas here, because look at their minus 143. They're at a worse line than some other games like Detroit. They're at a worse line than what else? Then that's about it, I think. All right, we're almost done. Eighth pick. So we're staying away from that game because it's too close to call. Where's the eight? Eight is Washington over Vancouver, and it has this game as a tie. And Kemper's going, I think we're using last year's goalie stats to says a really low scoring game, which is kind of interesting. If you're just looking at trends, it does not put up a lot of goals in this game. But too close to call, I guess I might bet the draw for fun, because it says that exactly, at least on score, but not on percentage. All right, next one, 9 is Boston and Florida. Boston is an underdog here at plus 120, and it gives them the game, even with good Bobrovsky, gives them a 3-goal differential, gives them the 9th pick. Both these teams have not lost yet, I believe. Florida 2-0, Boston is what, 3-0? Where's Boston? Right, Boston. No, they're 2-0 also. Yeah, everybody's playing well there. So it's going to be a really good game, but you get Boston an underdog line. So we're talking about like straight bets or something. Boston's the straight bet there. Algorithm says they win and they're an underdog and it's hockey and they're at home. So that's a pretty good pick, even though it's not a good round robin pick. And are there any other games? I think we went over all of them. So in summary, what are we betting in the round robin tonight? What are we doing?
It's Chargers
to win the minus
Yeah.
210. And if you can get Chargers team points at even money, that's the other one. I can't get that on FanDuel. I look for it. They don't give team points offered on FanDuel, but you might be able to.
Yeah.
So that's the other one, because it'll be over like 24 points or something, and it'll probably be good. They'll probably do it because of Denver's defense. All right. Yeah. And then what else did you have?
Hockey.
Ranger. Yep. Rangers to win.
Pittsburgh.
To win.
Carolina.
To win.
Colorado.
To win.
Detroit.
To win.
Yeah. And then you started talking about, nothing else but Boston straight bet. Did you want to take that for the Washington game?
I'm going to bet the tie for fun. So what I do is, you know what I do is I won't bet. I mean, I'm going to bet everything we just said in a round robin for sure. Right. Even though probably pruning out some of those games, like for example, no, actually all these are pretty good. There's just a lot to choose from today. Like we're staying away from Toronto at minus 490 because Toronto is just weird and has issues. And even though Arizona's awful, the line's terrible. So no, everything we said is pretty good. But I'm going to do other stuff that's crazy. And one of those crazy things will be a draw in the Washington Vancouver game. And I'll bet the exact score 2-2 tie also on something else. I made a bet the other day that was a total of $35 and it was 7 exact scores. And it paid over $1 million if I hit them all. And of course I didn't hit any of them, but it was so big that they wouldn't even let me bet 10 cents on the 7-pick parlay because the payout was above rational payout numbers. It was like hundreds of millions of dollars probably. And it's because the odds that they offer for that are ridiculous. And the algorithm says 2-2 tie. And while that's not going to come out every time, I can show you videos where I told people to play an exact 3-3 tie, and it came out 3-3, and it paid 16-1 or whatever it was. And you don't have to bet. You can bet that as a straight bet and sit and watch it. Sometimes you can cash it out at different points of the game if you're tracking to that score at that point. So there's interesting things you can do with that. But I'm going to throw all that stuff together and do something crazy because one of these nights I might accidentally hit everything. Algorithm has amazing days sometimes, and if you bet it right, you can do interesting things. but I'm not expecting to hit 7. I'm trying to get 2 out of 7 of those exact scores, just 2 of them. If you get 2 of them, you make money. And the most I've ever gotten is 2, I think, ever. Yeah. Mhm.
What's the percentage that people actually tie when you have games that are like, oh, this is for sure going to be a tie?
Well, they're offer. Oh, that's a good question. When I say call it as a tie, I don't know. We can start tracking videos, but oh, actually, I can look historically, but stuff changes around in the history because I'm altering formulas, and it makes it difficult to correctly look at the previous scores. So, but I don't know. We'll start tracking. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but
Doesn't it? Question.
I can say that I mean, I remember hitting games that are draws, and I remember they offer you like plus 300 sometimes on the draw. And it's a game where a lot of times, at the end of the game, it's within a goal, and sometimes it ends up being a draw. So does it happen 1 out of 3 times is really the question that it calls for that. I don't know the answer. We'll just start anecdotally tracking it, but it's not a bet that one makes that's you say, oh my God, I'm going to hit the draw. Like you don't think that way. You're not going to. Well, but sometimes you will. But when that's why I don't tell you to put a bunch of these on round robins. I do it for fun because I see the amazing payout on like $10 bet, and I'm like, let's try this. And but it's not. Yeah, that's the way I do. I enjoy it. I mean, that's part of betting I enjoy is trying to get these outcomes to line up exactly. And whatever. All right, so yeah, that sounded like 7 picks or so. That was crazy.
It was 6, I think.
All right. Well, sounds good. All right. Well, good luck, everyone. May all your picks be winning. We'll be watching some hockey. And I mean, I have no problem saying the Rangers are the #1 pick of the day, which is Sturkin if he's going against Gibson and Anaheim. That seems like a win. So hopefully we'll. All right. Good luck, everybody. May all your picks be winning.